Well, glory be and mercy me, we've done it yet again. Here we are on a regular walk around the graveyard. Beautiful, beautiful day today, guys. You can see lovely and green. Oh, man. The sky is clear, the sun is shining. If you can get out of this capitalist hellscape, get away from the cars, get away from everything, right? Find some nature, touch some grass, right? Come into reality. Realize that capitalism is failing, which is sort of the thesis of my channel and the thesis of this video overall, right? I've been seeing a lot of articles recently talking about how Canadians are more stressed than ever. All the polling data is showing stress is up, people are stressed out, especially pre-pandemic, or sorry, post-pandemic. There's a lot of stress that exists in the society. And my response to all of it is like, yeah, no shit. The most stressful thing that I think Canadians are going through is the steady realization that the system and the structure that they live in is not responding rationally to the series of crises that are put in front of it. You take a look at our pandemic response, and our pandemic response was woefully inadequate. That in the United States and Canada, we had the highest rate of COVID. We were not able to keep COVID away. We marched steadily towards the endemic aspect. Just live with it. Well, there are things coming, and we know that they're coming. We're aware that they're coming, that we are simply not going to be able to live with. But the capitalists are telling us that we must. When climate change begins burning down our infrastructure, when the famines begin, like we've been seeing reported in The Economist recently, we're not simply going to be able to shrug and say, well, I guess we'll live with it. That's not what it is to be a human being in this society. It's not going to work that way, but that's what the capitalists are saying to us. That's what the structure of this system is saying to us. And yeah, it increases people's stress to know that the infrastructure that's supposed to be working for their benefit is actually working against them. This is something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, about how the right, which is about to seize power in this country in big and serious ways, how they talk about how we're supposed to live in the world, right? That they keep saying things like get a job, right? They keep saying things like pull your bootstraps up, while simultaneously saying that there's a hierarchy, right? That it's a meritocracy. And it's just made me realize that the position of the conservatives that exist in this society is that the hierarchy exists and you have to justify yourself to the hierarchy, right? That it's up to you to prove your worth if you want food and shelter. When any rational person, or a person with a conscience or empathy or compassion of any sort, says, no, it's up to the hierarchy to justify its existence to us. That if it starts to do things like withhold food and shelter, if it starts to do things like abandon the poor and the disabled and the elderly, if it starts to do things that are the antithesis to its existence, like the only reason to pay any fealty whatsoever to the idea of a government hierarchy or a corporate hierarchy or any hierarchy at all is because it's improving our lives. Is it improving our lives? What I see is two Canadas. I see the people who have been told all you have to do is sacrifice your entire existence and your entire life to a pursuit that benefits capitalists completely, and then you'll get food and shelter. And then I see people on the other side who have been abandoned. And what do the capitalists say? They say, well, you should have worked harder. You studied the wrong thing. They blame the individual, not the hierarchy. Because if you start to actually focus on the hierarchy, you realize that it's completely illegitimate from the outset, and that this illegitimacy and our inability to actually discuss the illegitimacy of a system that's designed to abandon the populace, that's designed to divide the populace in two and then have us fight each other, is failing. This is increasing our stress. This is making life untenable and difficult. And it's going to make life unbearable, literally. Like, literally. When climate change gets to a point that the heat destroys any infrastructure or any technological attempt to counteract it, maybe then we'll start to scratch our heads and say, hey, we should do something about this. And then, of course, we turn to our political leadership. And what are they doing about anything? Forget even something about as grand or as enormous as climate change, right? How about something like just housing, right? What's our leadership going to do about housing? The answer? Nothing. Nothing at all. Why? Because they're the landlords. They're the homeowners, right? So if you're trying to get into the housing market, or if you're a renter, right, get fucked. It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about this, right? And it doesn't matter if you vote Liberal, Conservative, NDP, Green. It doesn't matter, right? They're all going to act this way because that's what the system generates. That's how it operates. That's how it works. And we just keep going along with it. The analogy I continuously use is it's like we're looking at a 5-year-old holding onto a fork, right? And he's going to put it into a socket. And we keep saying to this 5-year-old, if you put that in the socket, it's going to hurt you, right? And he just doesn't believe us, just doesn't believe us. And I really do think that Canada, the 5-year-old mentality that we have, is going to have to put the fork in the light socket. We're going to have to get the shock. We're going to have to learn the hardest way possible that a system that has only been saying, I'm here to profit off of you and abandon you, is incapable of responding rationally to crises. The system doesn't exist to make life better for us. The system exists to profit off our suffering. That's the point. And if they can profit while making life harder and more difficult, they will. And the people who are walking around saying just get a job, living in this kind of ignorant haze where ignorance is bliss, these are the people who are going to be the most betrayed. Because as the structure begins to completely collapse, as more and more people become rendered homeless, as more and more suffering spreads, as the famines begin, all these people have is the statement, just keep sacrificing yourself to the system of abandonment. Just keep sacrificing yourself to the death cult. Is it any small wonder that stress is going up? Is it any small wonder that people are beginning to really ask themselves, what is it that we're doing here? What is it that we're participating in? Because the reality is that it doesn't matter how hard you work, even if you are successful, right? Even if you do sacrifice your entire life to the capitalist death cult so that they can give you food and shelter, right? In the end, their plan is to burn down the future for your children and your grandchildren. That's their plan. So right now we're being divided into two camps. The ignorance is bliss camp and the people who are experiencing stress. We have to surround the halls of power. We don't have another alternative. We can't vote our way out of it. The system is designed to fail in this way. It's supposed to. That's what it does on purpose. That's how it's structured. And it's doing exactly the thing it's supposed to do. Until we surround the halls of power, demand that our Constitution be redrawn to prevent these overt psychopathic forces from destroying our society and destroying our lives. We're never going to be free from this. We're never going to be free from this. This place should be a refuge. We should be able to say to the people who are coming into the world, who are being spawned in, without their consent, they're just here. We should be able to say to them, hey, this is an easy place to live in. This is an easy place to be. You don't need to sell yourself to anyone. We do ask that you participate in meaningful pursuits like growing food, like maintaining the place, right? But worthless things like the financial sector, worthless pursuits like the complete financialization of our economy. What is this? This absurdist idea that we have to justify ourselves to a hierarchy that is actively seeking to destroy us. We should be done with it. And it's not going to happen until we surround the halls of power and demand that it be so. Always remember, guys, you're a quantum being walking around in quantum energy. The billionaires are spending hundreds of billions of dollars in the vain hope that you'll never realize it, and you'll just stay the good little commodity they need you to be. Revolt, rebel, repent. Good luck. We're gonna need it.